Well, there won't be any driving lessons today, that's for sure. What else should we do? What should we do, Ted?
Make a snowman.
Let's make a snowman. Well, after a long and strenuous journey, it was long and strenuous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We finally achieved Mr. Snowman. He's half Mickey Mouse and he's half what?
Snowman.
Grumble.
Gumbo.
Grumble. Grumble. Today's lesson is going to be... No. What's today's?
Building
Today's
snowmans.
video is going to be on how to drive in the snow and building snowmans. Good morning and welcome. For any of you that don't already know me, I am Josh. I'm a qualified driving instructor, and today I'm going to share with you 8 tips of how to safely drive in the snow. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. You won't miss out on what's coming next. Let's dive in. The first rule of driving in the snow. Now, I've stolen this from Boris, the man himself, but in this case, it's very, very true. Don't drive in the snow unless you really have to. There is a 20% higher chance of having an accident in the winter at any point, let alone snow. Now, it's a hard fact that there's a far higher chance of having an accident in the snow, so do your best to avoid it. But if you have to go out, let's have a look what else we got. Tip number 2, if you do have to go out, try and make sure you are fully stocked up. And most importantly, you have a fully charged mobile phone. Now you might think, Josh, this sounds ridiculous, until you break down in the middle of nowhere with no warm clothes and you're freezing cold. So make sure you got some basics like a bit of food, maybe a snack, maybe some water, as I say, a fully charged mobile phone, and definitely some warm clothes because you don't want to be that person. Number 3, it's always going to be easier and safer to drive over someone else's tracks. There's going to be less snow on the road under your tyres, which is going to give your tyres more grip. So if you have the choice, always drive in the tracks, even if you have to go off your normal position slightly. If it's safe to do so, follow out of your normal driving position in order to stay on the tracks. Tip number 4, braking distance in the snow is 10 times what it is on a dry road. That means if you're traveling at 70 miles an hour, your braking distance will be approximately 771 meters. To put that in some perspective for you, that is 8 football pitches. Essentially, guys, make sure you're braking early. And if you think you're braking early enough, brake even earlier. This means if you are traveling in a residential area or pretty much anywhere where there is a person, you shouldn't be much above 10 miles per hour in a snowy area. In fact, you should be less than 10 miles an hour. This should give you time to slow down and prevent you from skidding when traveling around those sharp little bends. Number 5, no sharp turning. If you know a corner is coming up, you need to make sure that you've done all your braking and accelerating before entering the corner. Because of the reduced grip of the tyres, your tyres are far more likely to continue in the direction you were originally going, even though you've turned the wheel. And by braking or accelerating too hard, you're going to change the weight of the car, which is going to increase the chances of your car following that direction. So make sure you're at the correct speed before entering a corner. If you're not sure, that means slow. Now, people often ask me, Josh, what can I do if I end up in a skid? Well, the short answer is not a lot, except maybe pull a funny face. That being said, you can still do your best. Now, the worst thing you can do is steer away from the skid. So if you're skidding left, you shouldn't be steering to the right, because as you come out of the skid, your wheels are suddenly going to grip and your car's going to start turning to the right, which is going to probably take you onto the opposite side of the road or somewhere where you don't want to be going. So the safest thing you can do is try and keep the wheels in the direction that you want to carry on going when you come out of the skid. Now, what they do recommend is you actually turn into the skid, as this will increase your chances of getting your grip back quicker. But this is a very difficult thing to do in the circumstances. So if you're going to do anything, just try and keep your wheels in the direction you want to go. And that was number 6. Number 7, accelerating in snow. How do we accelerate in snow? Well, the most recommended way of doing this is by choosing a higher gear than normal. So if your car normally requires first gears, as most cars do, you'd actually be attempting to use second gear instead. This is going to give you less torque, which is going to mean your wheels are less likely to wheel spin on the snow because they have less power. If you do wheel spin on the snow, you're going to increase the slippiness of the snow by compacting the snow, meaning your wheels actually have even less grip. increasing the chance of wheel spin and making it even more difficult to drive away. If you can, avoid wheel spins in snow at all costs. Believe it or not, it's actually illegal to drive with snow on your car, and you might be looking at me thinking, Josh, that's just ridiculous. Reason for this is if the snow falls down your windscreen, it's actually going to blind you as a driver. If it just blows off the back of the car, this is actually going to blind someone else as a driver. As we all know, either way, this is not good. So give your car a clean before you go. That's all I got, boys and girls. Thank you very much for coming. If you haven't already, like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.